There are so many delicious recipes for lasagna and everyone is a little bit different. This one is a very, very simple recipe and I hope you got to watch the recipe with the beef ragu and cannellini beans, which I serve with rigatoni pasta. This is it here. So just to recap, this is really the hardest part on making the white sauce, and then it's like an assembly job. So round steak, browned it off. Okay, I use a Simply Better round steak beef mince for this. And then what I did was carrot, celery, onion, garlic, fry that off. A little bit of smoked bacon in there, or you can use regular bacon. And then I put it in some passata, which is the sieved tomatoes. Now, you could use these chopped tomatoes, which are the San Marzano. These are absolutely fantastic. These are Italian tomatoes and these are some of the best tomatoes you'll ever eat. They're absolutely gorgeous. Put in some rosemary, bay leaf, a little bit of thyme. Finished it with some basil and then literally let this cook. I actually made this yesterday, so I did, and I let it cook for nearly 2.5 to 3 hours until it was melting in the mouth, and then salt and pepper. I'm a big believer in making life as easy as possible for everyone, whoever's cooking at home. So do this in bulk. Batch cook it and it freezes perfectly, honestly. This ragu mixture will keep for about 4 to 5 days in your fridge, no problem at all, and you can freeze it. Okay, we're going to show you how to make a white sauce. A white sauce known as a bechamel. It's a really, really simple. It's one of probably the first sauces that I learned to make when I was at college. My mother showed me too. So first of all, what I've done, I'll show you what I've done, is just infuse some milk with onion. I'll just get this here. And then I stud the onion with some cloves. So it's called an onion cloute. So that's a full onion there, and then a bay leaf. 1 bay leaf in that, and it's full fat milk that I'm using. So just warm that up. Now we're going to put in some butter. We're going to melt this, and we're going to make a roux. So it's very, very basic. This can be made ahead and it keeps really, really well. I love things that you can make ahead that will keep. And a lasagna can be assembled, left in the fridge and baked off fresh. Now I already have one done, so I'm going to show you the whole layering process. So we just simply melt the butter, and then we're going to add in, usually you add the same amount of flour as butter, thereabouts. So roughly about 50 grams of each, approximately. So I want to just melt this down. I'm using the balloon whisk. This is the easiest. So once your milk is hot, it speeds up the whole process, and it's infused. I forgot to say that. So I brought that to the boil. I let that infuse, and that's been sitting there lovely for about the last, maybe 10-15 minutes. So that's perfect. So just melt the butter, don't brown it, and then in goes the flour. Plain flour I'm using. Don't need to use any self-raising flour or anything like that. And then we're going to whisk this here. And this is the breadcrumbs. So I'm using the balloon whisk. I think it's the easiest whisk to use. So if we just look in there, it's kind of like a sandy texture. That's exactly what you want. Now it's going to be a little bit noisy. I'm going to use my sieve, turn down the heat, and then we're going to pour in the heated milk. Now, lovely. So that's what's left there. I'll just show you that there. I'll just whisk this and I can show you what's left. So you've kind of kept back, the onion. You can smell the cloves. And what's really nice in this too is a little bit of nutmeg if you want to. Now I'm going to let this just cook out. We're going to put in some salt, and then we're going to put in some pepper into this. So, and then we're going to grate in some cheese. So just keep whisking this. So this is one of the most basic sauces, like if you're doing cauliflower cheese, this is exactly what you would do. So just keep whisking away. Using the balloon whisk makes life very, very easy, so it does. So just let that simmer away, and it's going to thicken up. And like, it's pretty much foolproof, so it is. Now, it's lovely. A little bit of black pepper. I'm going to turn that right down, and then we're going to put in our cheese. So just give this a nice little whisk again. So you have a nice kind of thick bechamel white sauce there. Now if you want to, you can hand blend it. If you want a really, really smooth sauce, that's perfect, so it is. So I'm going to move that out of the way. We're going to put in our cheese. Now the cheese that I'm using, the first one is the cheddar cheese. So this is an extra mature Drina cheddar. So it's from West Cork. So it's a lovely story behind this. So it's a group of family farmers. It's their milk from their own farms, and it's made in Bandon Co-op, so it is. So myself and the Simply Better team went down with Kevin Sheridan. That man is a genius. What he doesn't know about cheese isn't worth knowing. So it's a lovely everyday cheddar. So we've done the Cajun chicken melt. I'm going to do a nice recipe with you very soon using some curry chicken melt. It's like a little sandwich. So it's a lovely cheddar. I'm using my box grater. So this is part of my cookery collection. So I'm just grating this here. So keep grating this. And what we do, just watch the fingers when you're doing that. Now, we're going to put in a little bit of Parmesan cheese into this. So the Parmesan cheese, just grate this and watch the fingers. So this is a 30-month matured Parmesan cheese, which I have here. This is going to go in to the sauce, and then I'm going to keep back some. So watch the fingers when you're doing this. Okay, so that's that there. Going to put in a couple of handfuls in here. Just right there. So that's the Parmesan and then some of that lovely cheddar. And I want to keep some back for the top of it. And just whisk this through. Okay. So it becomes a nice little bit lasting like that. Okay, going to have a little bit just more milk in here. So just to loosen it up a little bit. Just a little drizzle of that. Move that out of the way, and then just whisk this through here. And this will just make it nice and just a little bit, kind of just a little bit runnier. So it's full fat milk I'm using. And then your flour and your butter and your cheese. So you have that lovely, see that stringy consistency. Okay, so that is our white sauce or a bechamel sauce done. Now we're going to start to assemble our lasagna. So I'm using these beautiful lasagna sheets. So bronze dye, what it means, it's a plate that they push through the pasta that gives it a lovely texture. So this is Italian free range egg. It's made with free range egg, and these are the lasagna sheets. So you just literally break them just to whatever size you literally want. Okay, so break them like that. Don't be worrying about that if you can see the way I've broken that. And then we're going to get our ragu, which is cold. I always think it's easier, a little bit easier to make this when it's cold. A couple of spoonfuls of this. And then we're going to spread this to the edge. So these lasagna sheets, now you can make it with fresh lasagna sheets, but the texture I think is better from these here. So it is the bronze dye pasta, so made with semolina flour and then some nice Italian free range egg. So there's so many different variations. Like if you go to Bologna, which is a great city, I would recommend, a wonderful part of Italy, and you'll get loads of different recipes for ragu, for bolognese, for the lasagna, and it's just a beautiful part of the country. The way the Italians eat, the respect for food and traditions, there's something very, very special about that. Okay, just I'm going to just drizzle over some of this. Probably easier just using a nice big spoon. So I'm just going to literally just smear this over. So getting a small spoon, then we'll just simply spoon this here. So the back of the spoon is probably the easiest, and then just literally run it on top. So this is going to give it lovely, kind of keep it really nice and moist, and just spread it right to the edge. Okay, so that's that. Now we need more lasagna sheets. So we just simply break these. Put it there, make sure it fits in, and then just press that down there. So roughly it's about maybe three layers or thereabouts, you know, of the lasagna. It depends on the size of the dish. This isn't a very big dish. I'll put it another wee bit there. So press that down if you can, just kind of press it down, and then more of the ragu. So you can see the lovely chunks of carrot, celery. Even though that was cooked for 2.5, you know, nearly 3 hours, it does melt in the mouth. And like, I've made this recipe with half beef mince, half pork mince, which is a recipe which an Italian chef actually gave me when I was over recording one of my shows. And what they do, they put red wine into it, a little bit of garlic, some thyme, rosemary, and then lots of lovely tomatoes. Okay, so now our white sauce again. So we just spread this just all over around, just right to the corner. And then we need another layer. So just using the back of the spoon probably makes it easy. Just go right to the edges there. So our white sauce, and it doesn't matter if it just goes through like that. Don't be worried, don't be too, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about the taste. That cheese in the sauce really gives fantastic flavor. Okay, so another little bit here. And then we just, don't worry if it breaks. You can just arrange it, just kind of like, it's like patching up all the little holes there. Now, I'm just going to loosen this up a little bit. So I'm going to get my whisk. And just, this is for the final part here. So a little bit more milk in here. Don't want it too runny either. You could use some creme fraiche if you wanted to, if you didn't want to make a white sauce, but I honestly think this is nicer to use this. So just loosening it up. It's the cheese that kind of makes it a little bit stringy. Now, and then we'll just pour this just out of the pot. Just drizzle it all over. There we go. We're going to have no waste. So I'm going to use my spatula over here. And then just scrape it right to the edge. And just let it fall on top of the pasta. So just literally, just kind of spoon it, or what I'm using is a spatula, which is perfect for this. Go right to the edges, kind of fill in any of the little holes. I can hear the wee dogs trying to come in. They're hungry. And then we just sprinkle this all over here. Perfect. So now, this needs to go into the oven. You can put extra cheese if you want to into this. That's what we have there. That's the lasagna. Maybe a little bit more cheese. So we'll just break this here. A little bit more, I think, of the parmesan will give lots of flavour. Lovely. I love this parmesan cheese. Now, so you don't pre-cook your lasagna sheets. That's what I should have said. They are the dried pasta. Into the oven. Okay, I have one already done. 180, and that's going to take roughly about maybe 40 minutes or thereabouts. And that really depends on how many layers that you've done. So I'm just going to put this onto a tray. Actually, this is a really good tip for you. I'll move this out of the way. When it goes into the oven, put it onto a tray like that. So if it drips over the side, which mine is done, it's going to catch it. And it's not going to be going into your oven. So that's really, really important. So this is the one I've done already. And I'll just put this in. Oh, you need to be strong. They're not light. Now, that goes in. We'll turn that up to 180. So this is already cooked. So I'll just take it out and I'll just show it to you. Now I love when it drips over, and these crunchy, kind of crispy bits are gorgeous, so they are. So just using a fish slice. Before I do that, I'll just get a little bit of salad. So we're going to mix up a little bit of salad. These are salads from our garden. Some lovely cherry tomatoes going to go in there. A little bit of oil and a touch of vinegar. So you just dress the salad at the last minute. So I'm just using some nice extra virgin olive oil, and then a little bit of balsamic here. You can put in some nuts, whatever like that works really well, whatever you like. So a nice arrangement of salad just on the side, and always dress at the last minute. Now let's get into this guy. So using your kind of fish slice, I'm just going to get a nice big slice of it. And it's something I think if you always kind of let it sit for a few minutes, so you can just see all those lovely layers. Can you see that there? It's moist, it's delicious. It needs to go to the plate now. And there we have it. What would I serve for that? Some nice potato wedges, some chips I think works really well. You can see all the lovely layers, even if you go in there, Melda. You can see the lovely layers of the lovely mince, the ragu, and the pasta. So that is my beef lasagna. I hope you try this recipe. Really good pasta. Try the ragu recipe that can be served with tagliatelle or rigatoni, whatever like that, and then some nice salad on the side. Happy cooking, everyone. I'm way off to enjoy this. Okay, thanks a million.